Now let's talk about the three types of capital. The first type of capital is physical capital. This is used to make or distribute your product. So these are things that stay in the business that help get the experience out to consumers. So a cash register, a table, chairs, silverware, um, fryers, everything behind the counter that's used to make the product that isn't part of the product itself is going to be a part of that physical capital. One of the nice things about physical capital is you can sell it if your business is not doing well and usually get some money back out of it. Financial capital. This is where the payment from capital comes from. Typically, starting a business, people don't have the hundreds of thousands of dollars it takes to start a business without borrowing some money, particularly a high overhead business like a factory or even a lower overhead business like a restaurant. So they go to a bank or they go to a lender. Maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's someone like a venture capitalist like the Shark Tank, or maybe it's an official loan process through a bank. They borrow money and they create this capital. This is going to be a loan that they're going to pay back over time as the business is hopefully successful. Finally, there's human capital. This is your skill and knowledge of business, and you can increase this by education and training. Okay, I teach teenagers, and so lots of you work in fast food or retail, and most of you have had to watch training videos or go through some sort of formalized training process. As franchises became more popular, video training has become more popular because it shows you can ensure that every single employee gets the exact same training. Wendy's, this looks like in the early 90s, decided to make a little hip hop attempt at teaching people how to grill burgers. I'll let you decide whether that was a good idea or not.
What the? And you're about to learn some grill skills. So let's get busy now. Let's go.
Now working the grill, Bill, it ain't so tough. But first of all, you got to check your stuff. Like a grill that's set at 250 with the meat and cheese that's ready to go. A towel to keep your station looking cool. But most of all, you got to have your tools. Are you with me now? Get ready. We're gonna lay them down. Now, beats got grain to it just like wood. You got to follow the arrow to lay it down like you should. From the front to the back, you got to lay it down. Space it evenly, not scattered around. Next, you got to salt the meat from the back to the front to make the taste complete. Not too little, not too much. With a little finesse, you'll get the touch. What's coming up next is our key to success. We'll turn the meat and do a four-corner press. Don't wait too long, I emphasize, or the meat won't reach the proper size. When things start to sizzle, you're ready to go. Gently turn the meat, but don't be slow. Just turn them over easily. We don't want a broken patty, that's a guarantee. Press out the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rock it a bit, are you keeping score? Top and bottom, left and right, and you'll get a patty that's out of sight. Press out the corners, nice and wide, at least half an inch on both sides.
Okay, so I have the rest of the video linked, and I suggest you go check it out. It is a fine, fine work of amazingness. I learned that Wendy's uses their old meat for chili, so no waste, no inefficiency, as we might say in economics. But another thing that's important to note here is that they give clear and proper instructions despite all the craziness, and so everyone gets those instructions. Even then, though, this is not something I'd be confident doing my first day at work. So a big point that I make is I may have a college education, and I probably could do this job at Wendy's. However, myself versus one of you that's been working the grill for a while now, the manager is going to want one of you a whole lot more than they're going to want me. And I might say, hey, I got this award. I was teacher of the month. Does not matter when it comes to cooking meat. So that skill doesn't transfer very well. And as I've learned over the summer when I've tried lots of DIY projects, human capital is really important in areas of plumbing and painting and things that you learn over time with trial and error, and someone who's already skilled in those areas is going to be a lot more valuable. So human capital can mean explicit human capital, things like college education, high school diplomas, but it can also mean that everyday human capital of trial and error, things that you know how to do and skills that you have. You can increase your human capital through education and training, whether that's working alongside someone or through getting a diploma. Next up is land. Land is two things. One is your natural resources, things like forests and minerals and rocks and soils and animals. Also, it is a location that you would pay rent on for your business. And then finally is labor. We're mostly familiar with this because most of us are laborers, with the exception of some students that I've had come through that ran their own businesses, like Hunter Benson and Jason Hickman and Jacorin Perkins. Labor has been working for someone else for an agreed upon amount of pay. So labor is that effort. And again, you can tell the difference between labor and entrepreneurship because labor gets paid a wage that is set and agreed upon. Entrepreneurs get paid profit, which only happens if the business is paying its bills. Now, I'll have a 4 factors of production picture activity that you can learn more about in the assignment video.